We're going to talk about some stupid things. We're also going to talk about some things that should really concern you. So let's settle in and talk about this whole thing. So I like to start off these with something that's kind of like news of the absurd. Things that are just, kind of crazy. Hello, WV. What's going on? And, I look around and it's not hard to find things that are just absolutely absurd. And of course, every time you think that they can't get any more absurd, they do. I think we're all kind of tired of being talked down the nose of people saying, hey, you're not doing enough. You're you're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem because, you're just not understanding how precarious everything is in the world, especially as it pertains to, our atmosphere and climate and all that. And it's really hard to take someone seriously when these are the kind of actions that they do. All right. I'm not going to go get advice on how to get sober from a dude that's doing rails of blow on a, back of a toilet seat. I'm going to go to things that are actually going to help me and are not just hypocritical in nature. So Starbucks is a place that sells coffee and has become incredibly popular over the last 20 years. I'm really happy. My wife tonight said she doesn't really go there anymore. She used to go there and get their drinks, and honestly, the money for their drinks has gone up so much. It's ridiculous. $6-7 for a coffee, no matter how fancy, is wasted money. I mean, it's as bad as cigarettes if you think about it, right? So she was very proud of herself. She's kind of given it all up, and now we actually have local coffee shops that we like to go to because you're supporting a local business. She really likes matcha green tea, and so she doesn't really go to Starbucks for it anymore, and it's good because it really is cheaper. It's not as expensive. She used to go a lot. It was her one thing. She doesn't drink. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't. She's pretty frugal with her money, but she just liked a good coffee, and she used to go to Starbucks. This is a couple years ago, and I would look through and would say, hey, you spent $22 on Starbucks this week. That's $88 a month. That's $1,000 a year, yada, 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 right? So she's not going there anymore, and it's good. Now, of course, we've all followed the whole climate thing where they're doing the straws and, the cups that have the lids with the little hole and all that. I used to like iced coffee from them. Of course, that's gotten, when it went from I think it was $3.55 where I was checked out, $3.55 for a Trenta, and now it's probably in the $5 or $6, $7 range. But when these companies are looking down at you and they're doing all these things like we've partnered with so and so and the CEO commutes 1,000 miles on a corporate jet to get to work. I mean, we are just peak hypocrisy, okay? Now, I am not against being environmental. I really am. It's why I don't touch on it anymore. We're actually pretty darn environmental in our family, but we're not going to, go hug a humpback whale or anything like that. But, we try to do what we're supposed to do. My father was in a business, and it has a heavy footprint in recycling. And he saw it 25 years ago. He said, this is just absurd. the way that they're pushing all this stuff. And to be honest with you, the way they redo and recycle some products, it really is not that much better than just, getting more of it. So this guy goes 1,000 miles in a corporate jet, but, you're looked down upon by people for having a plastic straw. By the way, I freaking loathe paper straws. When I go I don't like straws in the first place. There's a few things I don't like. I don't like straws. I don't like gums. And I don't like hats. Kevin Grip, thank you very much, sir. I don't like any of that stuff. Straws, I think, are annoying. I think it makes you drink it. You don't actually enjoy it, the drink and all that. And when they came out with the paper ones, by the time you're 2/3 of the way through the drink, especially if it's, something like coffee, it just dismantles itself. So here's Brian Nickel. He's the new Starbucks CEO, and he doesn't have to relocate to the company's headquarters. Okay. He lives in Newport Beach, California. Okay. Very environmental. And he commutes to the head office 1,000 miles away on a corporate jet. So I want to thank this fine person here because he just sums it up perfectly. Mark Morano, they're playing you for a sucker. Starbucks CEO can commute 1,000 miles in a corporate jet to work, but Starbucks customers can't get a plastic straw due to the company's journey to reduce our environmental footprint. So, recyclable strawless lids for customers. That's what we get. Now, I don't care about them. Whatever. I don't drink their drinks really ever now. The only time we do it is if we're on the road or in like a vacation, right? And even then, we like to go to local spots. So, I don't know. This is just dumb. It's just stupid on so many levels. And, the environment and all that, when they look at it politically, as a thing, like a list of all the stuff that people care about, it's really low. It really is. People aren't buying the craze anymore, I guess is the best way to put it. So, you do you. If you want to get all up and in a tizzy over this stuff, that's fine. But for the most part, it's, you guys remember the 70s and 80s? I remember acid rain. I remember the ozone layer. All these things were supposedly going to just kill us to death. It hasn't happened. So I'm not saying go, chuck your trash into the street or anything like that. No, you should be loving of this beautiful earth that God has created for us all. But at the same time, when you're getting talked down to by people like, I'm sure this guy has done his fair share in that endeavor, and they're traveling 1,000 miles, it's really hypocritical. And it just kind of makes you scratch your head and say, do these people really understand? I don't think they do. What people do care about is the economy. And this fine lady here, I think her name is Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, says she doesn't believe the new government data that shows almost 1 million jobs that we have claimed to have been created actually don't exist. Okay, now we covered this on the crisis report initially. They have fabricated things, and it's a government. We don't expect them to do anything less. But this is really egregious and over the top. It's only happened one other time. Magically, it was with Obama in 2009. But they overstated the jobs in the last year by 1 million. That's a lot of jobs. They've almost 80,000 jobs less per month. That's real people working. And it's really out of control. And people are kind of pissed off. But just listen to what she has to say about all this. I'm so tired of the acting like you're oblivious, or, like you just, I don't know. It's, let them eat cake is always what I think about.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it, because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
When you...
Okay, I mean, you're talking about, all right, so of course you got to throw Trump in there, whatever. But, I mean, how are you not familiar with the Bureau of Labor statistics? How are you not familiar with some of this stuff? Maybe you're not familiar with this little snippet and everything, but, excuse me, this is a really bad thing. I mean, it's one thing to overstate them by a little bit, but it's another thing to overstate them by almost 1 million. That's a problem. So this is your typical, person in the administration, and I don't know. I mean, this whole thing here at the DNC, I mean, people are like, oh, well, they're getting better numbers than the GOP. That's because it's a freaking isht show. It is absolute craziness. People aren't watching because they're into the Democrat Party. They're watching because they want to see the next crazy thing that is said. So check this out. This is they're calling it 2 minutes of hate for those that know Orwell. They have had this montage on loop of the DNC, all right? And so this is I don't know. You know what? Let's go on into X to see this one, okay? All right. This was playing on loop. Let's I mean, this is just weird. I mean, it goes on from there. Let's see where we're at here. I mean, whoa. Okay. Tell us how you really feel. You're going to say that to George Soros or, Gil Bates or anybody other people that sit there and finance all the crap we hate? What about Klaus? You're going to tell that to Klaus? I mean, I'm sure half the DNC is on his friggin' payroll. What is that? This is just surreal. I mean, look at these images and stuff. I mean, look at this. So I guess that's DJT on the left, shooting their democracy. I mean, this is a montage going on outside of the DNC or inside. I'm not sure where. I mean, what do you think about all this? This is just nuts. This is what, and I wasn't impressed with the GOP and all that in their whole thing. I really wasn't. I don't know if it's just I'm getting older, but I look at this stuff and I'm like, you're just playing to the most base level crap at this point. I mean, is that where we are as a country? Are people just that dumb? Where on the side of the DNC they have to say F billionaires on this? I mean, meanwhile, Kamala took, 500 million in? I can assure you that most of that money was coming from extremely rich entities. The DNC is not exactly known to be the party of the little guy anymore. Okay? So yeah, 2 minutes of hate. There's your literature reference. Someone said, I liked that I was talking about Bradbury and Vonnegut the other day. Yeah, we try to be a little bit above brow here. I'll drop an F-bomb when I get, angry or whatever, talking about woke crap and all that. But the profanity-laden video, and it was, gosh, you put on one, it says F, whatever. Political opponents as cockroaches. Could you imagine the reaction if conservatives did that? And sprinkles and sexualized images, including Elon Musk deep-throating a phallic object labeled Magasicle. Okay. So, if there's any doubt what they're thinking about, they think that America is evil. Okay. Wealth is evil. F the billionaires. And they said redistribute that ish, which is literal communism. This is where they're at now. They want redistribution of wealth. They don't want people to actually make wealth or make money. And they think that America is evil. As far as I'm concerned, that is the precursor to communism. This is how it starts. Am I wrong? So Trump did have a good one. He said, he called Comrade Kamala. That's a good name. That's one sticks. And there's another channel. I'm not going to mention their name, okay? And the guy had a video, and he's not real into Trump. And he's a vet against Trump, right? That group. And he had some, montage of some of the stupid stuff Trump has said. And Trump says a lot of stupid stuff. Don't get me wrong. But when you're literally looking in the eye of communism and America is evil, wealth is evil, communism is good, redistribute that ish. We're in a whole new ball game here. Okay? And they're playing down to the dumb. Don't get me wrong. That's why they're using the really crappy language. Can you imagine if they used this in 1972 or whatever? This is just base level crap at this point. Let's be honest. So, yeah. So So this other channel basically had this whole thing where he was veterans against Trump is what he was saying. All right, and I get that. Trump has said some stupid stuff. They all do. Everybody. You can go back to every politician. But when if I were to talk to the guy and he was like, I'm going to make my case, and he's like, hey, Trump is he's evil and he treats our military like crap. I'd say, well, all right, you can make that case. But moving our corporate tax numbers up to 46%, taking wealth numbers like taxes from the wealthy, moving that up to 28%, both of which are much higher than the average, across the board. I don't want Bezos and Amazon to not pay taxes. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, there's a thing called the Laffer curve. And for those that don't know, it's economics 101. Basically, you can only tax so much. And when you get to a certain tax level, people just drop out. They stop. They move. They whatever. California is seeing this. People can't afford homes there, so they move. If you can't afford something where you're living, if you can't afford it, you move. And that's what's going on all over because things have just gotten so out of whack. How do I know this? Well, all right. Hold on. No, I don't want that. Hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah. Auto industry recovers. Car prices are still out of reach for many. Now, I don't know if you've seen the car prices. I think I was quoting this 6 months ago. It's $37,000. Actually, let's go into it. Let's check it out. Cars are not affordable. Yes, we know that. They weren't, they're easier 5 years ago. Now they're not. 2019, a consumer with a budget of $20,000 could afford about 50% of the used cars out there. 2023, 13%. I'm sure it's less now. 7% interest rates. No. Average American's credit score is 700 according to that. So price of a new car is $50,000. F-150 is almost $60,000. Who has that money? Who has that money? Who can pay that much money for a car? Interest rates, making $700 to $1,000 monthly payments. That is just idiocy. I drive an $8,000 vehicle that I own. And trust me, if I wanted to get into one of the other vehicles set up there, I could do it. But I'm not an idiot. It's just dumb. So all this is going on. So meanwhile, as you know, the one side is sitting there doing whatever the heck that one video montage is and trying to get you into their stuff. They've got a labor person, whatever she works for, who doesn't know where all this stuff is coming from, hasn't been following the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is kind of in her realm of need to know. And meanwhile, people are out there just getting crushed, and they revised down this whole jobs thing by almost 1 million jobs. Basically lie to the people. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is. It's a lie. They lied to us. They know what's really going on. Because they didn't want the unemployment number to go up. That's what it was. They're like, oh, we have to keep it at this level. We have an election coming up. Let's just lie to people. That's what they said. So now all this stuff, I mean, I don't know, maybe, are you doing well? I'm not doing, we're okay, but we're definitely not as good as we were 5 years ago. So, I mean, $60,000, $700 to $1,000 monthly payment, skyrocketing prices all over the place. So CPI, which is your inflation data, and that doesn't even like take on like food. It's just like all the other stuff. It's the rich person stuff. Let's be honest. It's up by 22% in the last 5 years. That's astronomical. It's not supposed to do that in like a decade, 2 decades. So the cost of living in the United States is up by 22%. I think we're all feeling that. Median household income was $74,500 in 2022. In 2019, it was $78,250. So we've gone down. And these are the people that are making the case that they're going to fix it. There's a great meme out there, and it says, it had like, Kamala's face and said, it's funny. When I started this, I'm like, because I go in, I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to craft this? How am I going to weave from story to story? I think about this stuff. And I don't want to just talk about politics all the time. I want to talk about other stuff. I want to talk about some of the regular old prepper stuff, some good old-fashioned doom and gloom, right? I like to talk about the economy because it affects everybody. The war and all that. I like to talk about that. I don't want to just talk about politics, but everything keeps going back to these boneheads. It's unavoidable. Like, there's so many stupid things being said out there that you just can't avoid it. So it said Kamala, oh God, I can't remember exactly what it said. But first it was, it was something like our economy's doing so great. We've created this many jobs. And then the next sentence is, and these are both quotes, I'm going to fix all this on day one. What, you're going to fix your own, your own mess, your own problems? I mean, that's kind of what you're saying. So obviously, if we've gone down by $4,000 roughly in our income, and everything has gone up by almost a quarter, that's a problem. And by the way, the polls that are out there, like they've looked at internal polling from her campaign, and they are freaked out. It's not good. Because things are so problematic. So, I mean, there's more. And we're going to, trust me, we're going to round the bend on this. Median household income rose over a longer period from 84 to 22 by 31%. Cost of living, as measured, so it took almost 40 years to raise by 31%, and everything that we're buying goes up by 22% in 5 years, that's not going to work. At some point, everything is going to just crap the bed. New car rose by 41% in 3 years. Who can buy that? Average list price of a car was $50,000 in May 2024. $35,000 in 2021. So you have to spend $30,000 on a vehicle. I'm going to drive my little crapper until the thing, like, I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what I look like. I mean, my car's 15 years old, and I don't care. I don't care. I'm not paying $30,000. I will let this whole thing take a thunder dump in the bed. A little bit more. May 20 to May 2024, average list price for used car rose by 52%. That is not, that defies all economics. 52% is like what you do in half a century. At least that's what it used to be. So you tell me, does this not feel like just a little bit of a tinge of not just inflation, but hyperinflation? I'm old enough to remember I think it was 2022, May of 2022, Janet Yellen coming out and saying, the inflation is transitory. You guys remember that one from a couple plus years ago? Remember that? It's transitory. Clearly, it's not. If you look at this, it's not just transitory. It is face-rip-atory. It is going nuts. And it's unsustainable. It's not going to happen. The people can't do this. So now, this is my conspiracy theory, okay? I think they dropped the 818,000, almost a million job over production, whatever, or over, lie, let's be honest. Because they know the things are so bad, they have to force the Fed's hand to cut rates. Houses aren't moving. Trust me, I know. We know someone in our family that can't sell their house. Cars are unsustainable, clearly. Nobody wants to pay $30,000 for a vehicle that has 87,000 miles on it. That's just stupid. That's why I'm calling this video, This Is Just Dumb. Besides the fact the CEO traveling 1,000 miles on a corporate jet. I mean, talk about how oblivious everything is. These CEOs gallivanting around 1,000 miles on their corporate jets and looking down at us like we're the problem when it comes to, the environment and stuff. The DNC putting all this crap up on their walls about, just Like, I mean, it looks like a trailer for a movie about the Joker or something. I don't know. And then, you look at the real economy, and you're sitting there looking at house prices and car prices, and everything is just completely disjointed, and it's doing things that absolutely define all laws of economics. And then one I said the other day, and other people are catching on to this, is now $1 million for an ingot of gold. Gold prices are at record highs. Now, many years ago, I played my metals hand, and I got what I wanted, and I just left it there, and it just sits in a safe. It is now to the point where it has doubled. If you know where prices were 6-7 years ago, back when gold was like $1,200 to $1,400, it's now $2,500 and rising exponentially. I looked at silver. Silver, of course, is a laggard. It's not doing what gold is doing, but it's at $30, which means because of the premiums, if you're going to go get like silver, you're going to need to drop $38 to $40 to get it. So $30 is really $40. Let's be honest. $25.31 is really $2,700 or more. $1 million for an ingot of gold. So they're talking about the extraordinary performance. That's because they have urinated all over our currency. Let's just be honest. They've literally just destroyed the dollar. I mean, that's why our prices are going up. It's not because cars are just that much better now. It's because they've taken all the quantitative easing and the printing of money effectively, and they've flooded the market. Now, as we've said here many times, what is all this going to look like if we get into a war and the other side says, you know what, we're going to not use the dollar anymore. If the dollar isn't used anymore, the dollar comes home. It's called Forex. What is that? It's foreign exchange. We have dollars in our, central banks in whatever country. And when we need to buy, petrol, we use dollars. Well, all that goes away. Saudi Arabia is not using that. They use the yuan now. They use the Saudi rial, or they use the ruble, or whatever. And the dollar goes away. We're in dire straits. We're major problems because all those countries that hold all those dollars are going to say, you know what? We don't need these anymore because we don't buy gas with this anymore. Let's trade it in. Let's send it all home. Let's take it and just send it out to America, and they'll just have to deal with it. When all those dollars come rushing back home, we go into hyperinflation. Everything goes exponentially pricier. And I personally think, folks, we're starting to see kind of some of the first tinges of what hyperinflation or hyped up inflation, which I've really said for a while now, a couple years since the transitory statement in May of 2022. When we really start to get into hyped up inflation, I think that's where we're at right now. You're going to really see people get their faces ripped off. Gold prices hit new record ahead of expected interest rate cuts. Spot gold was trading at $22.55 an ounce late Tuesday. Gold prices and U.S. Gold price and U.S. interest rates tend to be inversely correlated. So, gold's price is going to continue, all of it. It's a shiny rock. It maintains value. Historic rise in the price of gold above $2,500 per ounce reflects growing global economic uncertainty and investors' continued search for safety. Translation, we see a major economic bed crap on the horizon. America is not the strong country it used to be, at least financially. Their entire system is built on debt. And here we are. And when all this really gets going, you're going to look back at a $40,000 used car and you're going to be like, wow. I mean, there's people that have gone out and done things where they looked at like the Great Depression and compare it to now. And like the economic factors and the economic climate at that time for people in the Great Depression, 1929 to, right before WW to the two, it was better then than it is now. So, $2,500 an ounce. Now, this is not investment advice. I'm not telling you to go buy gold. I'm just showing you that because the price of gold, the price of cars, the price of houses, all of it is going up, 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 up. Physical items are going to be needed to counteract all the problems that are going on with our dollars. Because it just that's where we're at. We have to do that. So hopefully you're doing things. You're buying physical items. Food would count. Precious metals would count. Tools would count. Medicines and all that kind of stuff. Your general prepping needs and things like that. Every day I figure out something because I bought stuff before, and we're getting ready to do some landscaping out back, and we have extra the garden cover, where you put it down and you put the mulch over, and weeds stops the weeds, right? So in the shed we've got a few rolls I bought a little while ago, I think 4 years ago, when we were redoing things, and I just bought some yesterday, and it was $12 for 80 square feet. Now, I've got 50 square feet rolls that I had bought previously. When I got them, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I'm on this because I remember this kind of crap, they were like $4.99. So, I mean, it's too much. People are going to break. That's the problem. And that's what's going to happen. And you're already kind of starting to see it. People are going to start to break. This election, to the guy with the channel that's I used to like to watch, and I don't know. It was a little too, I couldn't take it. And unsubbed. To that person, and it's no one that you guys know. It's no one that you would think. I will take harsh words. I will take stupid, rambling conferences or whatever in having a functioning economy any day of the week. You can bring in the just most sly, silver-tongued devil in the world who can just speak like, just as beautiful as possible, make us all feel good about ourselves. If the economy is just in the trash heap, I don't care how good you talk. I don't care. Because this is really starting to hurt people. It's changing people's purchasing, it's changing everything. So it's becoming a problem. So, I don't know. I just wanted to take you on that trip from the CEO of Starbucks going 1,000 miles to do his job. Can you imagine? The Raimundo person not having any clue where our BLS is or what it does. 2 minutes of hate from the DNC to really get the violent elements of that party, if you want to call it that, stoked and ready to go trash cities. And then, of course, the out-of-reach ability of getting Highlands Husky. Thanks very much, brother. Getting the auto industry, because nobody can afford a car anymore. Everybody's got to buy a 10-year-old vehicle with 147,000 miles on it. To the point where everything we're buying is going up in price, and gold is just hitting record after record. So, DPFX is absolutely correct. Preparedness matters. So, be thinking about that, Harsh words in a good economy, a guy that you can hit the mute button on, or the biggest silver-tongued devils in the world. They make you just feel as good as you can be. Meanwhile, everything around them in the country is just absolutely crumbling. I know where my vote goes. All right, friends. Hit the like button, do all that kind of stuff. If you want to be a cool person like Bad Bobber, and you're all cool if you're here, be a member. It's $2. Helps keep the cause going. You know, because I do kind of sit down and think about these things, where I'm going to go with all this stuff. Mama Sita, thank you so much for being a mod, all the other mods. And thanks all of you guys for subscribing and listening and all that. Hopefully we can fix some stuff, you know, because I got kids and I can't give them this hunk of crap that we're calling America right now. I love this country. I want it to do well. I want you to do well. So please hit that button, hit the like button, leave a comment, tell me how you're feeling and all that, and, you know, we'll address it. So keep putting food away, folks. Keep putting stuff away. Keep doing the things, you know. It's never more important, because I got a strange feeling it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder